Commander Jack Miller stood at the observation deck of the diplomatic vessel, watching the stars. The massive space station of the Galactic Consortium hung in the void before him, its metal arms extending like a giant metal flower. 30 years since humanity had joined the consortium, and still they were treated like children who had stumbled onto the galactic stage by accident. Beautiful, isn't it? Dr. Lisa Green moved to stand beside him. Her dark hair was pulled back, in a simple bun, her eyes fixed on the same view. Too bad they think we're too primitive to truly appreciate it. Jack nodded. As Earth's military representative, he had grown used to the dismissive looks and condescending tones of the alien. Diplomats. The Galactic Consortium included over 300 species, most of whom had been spacefaring for thousands of years. Humanity, with its mere century of interstellar travel, was seen as barely worth notice. Ambassador Krelvax has requested our presence in the main chamber, Lisa said. Apparently our petition for additional colony worlds will be addressed today. Jack straightened his uniform. Let me guess. They'll offer us one barren rock and act like they're doing us a huge favor. Probably, Lisa said with a slight smile. But orders are orders. We smile, we thank them, and we report back to Earth. They walked together through the gleaming corridors of the diplomatic vessel. Other alien representatives passed them, some nodding politely, others simply ignoring the humans. Jack had learned to identify dozens of species by now: the tall, thin Acridians with their 4 arms, the squat, rocky Petravians who seemed to rumble when they walked, the liquid-like Meroans who flowed rather than stepped. The main chamber was a vast circular room with hundreds of seats arranged in rising tiers. At the center stood a platform where speakers could address the gathered representatives. Ambassador Krelvax, a tall, blue-skinned being with 6 eyes arranged in a circle around his head, was already speaking when Jack and Lisa entered. And so we come to the human petition, Krelvax was saying, his translator device making his complex language understandable to all present. They wish to expand their colonies beyond their current allocation. Jack and Lisa took their seats near the back of the chamber. Earth had not yet earned the right to sit closer to the center, where the founding species of the consortium were positioned. The humans claim they need more space for their growing population, Krelvax continued. They also claim to have the technological capability to terraform and develop worlds that other species might find challenging. A ripple of amusement passed through the chamber. Jack felt his face grow warm with embarrassment and anger. We have reviewed their petition, Krelvax said, and while we acknowledge their enthusiasm, we must consider reality. The humans have been part of our community for a mere 3 decades. Their technology is primitive by our standards. Their military capability is minimal. Lisa leaned closer to Jack. Minimal. If they only knew, she whispered. Jack nodded but kept his face neutral. The truth was something very few in the consortium knew. That Earth had been very careful about what technology they revealed since making first contact. The ships they allowed the consortium to see were indeed primitive by comparison. But they were not the only ships Earth possessed. Furthermore, Krelvax continued, the humans continue to speak of their warlike past as if it were something to be proud of. They tell tales of massive space battles that supposedly occurred before they even joined our community. Tales that, I must note, have no supporting evidence in any of our extensive records. Now laughter rippled through the chamber. Jack remained stone-faced. He knew why there was no evidence in their records. Earth had made sure of that when they joined the consortium. Shall I remind our friends, a new voice spoke up, that human myths speak of defeating an armada that supposedly threatened their entire solar system, an armada that none of our species ever encountered or recorded? It was Representative Zoltek of the Meridian Alliance, a frequent critic of humanity. Krelvax's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. Indeed. These human myths are most entertaining. They speak of hidden fleets and secret weapons and battles that shook the stars. Yet when they joined us, they arrived in ships that would be considered outdated by most junior species. Jack and Lisa exchanged glances. Every word was true. When Earth officially joined the galactic community, they had carefully constructed the image of a young, somewhat primitive species still finding its way among the stars. It had been a decision made at the highest levels of Earth government, after their first secret encounters with alien scouts. The consortium has decided to grant the humans one additional world in the outer reaches of Sector 8, Krelvax announced. It is a harsh world, but perhaps suited to their resilient nature. Jack stood up. This was unexpected. Representatives rarely spoke unless invited to the central platform. The Earth delegation wishes to address the chamber, he said loudly. Krelvax's eyes narrowed, but protocol demanded he acknowledge the request. The human representative may speak. Jack walked down to the central platform, aware of hundreds of alien eyes watching him. Lisa remained in her seat, but he could see her tension. The Earth thanks the consortium for their generosity, Jack began, his voice steady. We accept the world in Sector 8 with gratitude. Krelvax seemed surprised by this easy acceptance. He had clearly expected complaints or pleas for more. However, Jack continued, I wish to address the comments about our so-called myths. The chamber grew quiet. This was unusual. Most junior species simply accepted what they were given. History is a curious thing, Jack said. What seems like myth to one may be carefully hidden truth to another. Earth has indeed been careful about the face we present to the galaxy. Is the human suggesting they have been deceiving the consortium? Krelvax asked, his tone sharp. Jack smiled slightly. Not deceiving, waiting, learning. There is an old Earth saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. And what does this primitive saying mean? Another representative called out. It means that sometimes strength is best kept quiet until needed, Jack replied. History often repeats itself. Let's hope it doesn't need to. Before anyone could respond, an aide rushed into the chamber and whispered something to Krelvax. The ambassador's 6 eyes widened simultaneously, a sign of alarm in his species. This session is temporarily adjourned, Krelvax announced. All representatives are to return to their vessels immediately. As the chamber erupted in confused conversation, Jack's personal communicator vibrated. It was a message from Earth Command. Operation Sleeping Giant is now active. Return to Earth immediately. Jack met Lisa's eyes across the chamber. They both knew what this meant. Somewhere, somehow, the threat Earth had been preparing for had finally arrived. And now the galaxy would learn that human myths were anything but fictional. The emergency alarm blared throughout Horizon Colony as Governor Paul Martinez raced through the corridors of the administrative building. Outside, the sky was filled with the menacing shapes of draconian warships, their dark hulls blocking out the light from Horizon's twin suns. Status report, Martinez demanded as he entered the colony's command center. 6 draconian warships in orbit, replied his chief of security. They're demanding immediate surrender of the colony. They claim resistance is pointless given our primitive defenses. Martinez allowed himself a small smile. The Draconians, like the rest of the Galactic Consortium, believed human colonies were protected by nothing more than basic shields and a few outdated defense satellites. They had no idea what was waiting for them. Have they started their attack? Martinez asked. Not yet. They're giving us 1 hour to surrender. Martinez nodded and moved to the central command console. He placed his palm on the scanner, then spoke clearly. Governor Paul Martinez, authorization Zeus 9er72. Activate Sleeping Giant protocols. The command center's lights dimmed momentarily before switching to a blue emergency mode. Hidden panels in the walls slid open, revealing advanced weapon controls that had remained concealed since the colony's founding 15 years ago. Sir, one of the operators said with obvious relief, we're receiving a transmission from Admiral Howard. Earthfleet is on the way, but they're 6 hours out at best. Martinez nodded grimly. Then we hold for 6 hours. Activate all defensive systems, but keep them in passive mode. Let's not show our hand too early. 50,000 kilometers above Horizon Colony, High General Vexcor of the Draconian Empire stood on the bridge of his command ship. His scaled skin gleamed under the harsh lights as he studied the human settlement below. Pathetic, he hissed, to his second-in-command. These humans build their colonies like children playing with toys. Our sensors detect minimal defenses, exactly as our intelligence reported. The countdown to their surrender deadline is at 45 minutes, High General, his officer reported. Vexicor's forked tongue flicked out in a gesture of contempt. I tire of waiting. The humans need to learn their place in the galaxy. Begin the bombardment now. On Horizon Colony, the first draconian energy blasts struck the upper atmosphere. The colony's residents watched in fear as the sky lit up with fiery trails of incoming weapons fire. In the command center, Martinez remained calm. Activate shields, he ordered. Full power. Outside, a shimmer appeared in the air above the colony, expanding rapidly to form a dome of energy. The first wave of draconian weapons struck the shield and dissipated harmlessly. On the draconian command ship, Vexcor leaned forward in surprise. What is this? Our intelligence said they had only basic defenses. Sir, we're detecting energy, readings far beyond what a human colony should be capable of producing, his science officer reported, confusion evident in his voice. Increase firepower. Use the heavy cannons, Vexcor ordered, his calm demeanor cracking slightly. The draconian fleet redirected its firepower, unleashing their heaviest weapons against the human colony. The shields above Horizon Colony flickered, under the assault but held firm. Martinez watched the shield readings carefully. They're hitting us hard, but the shields can take it. Time to show them we can bite back. Activate defensive batteries targeting pattern Delta. Throughout the colony, hidden weapon emplacements emerged from buildings, parks, and hillsides. Advanced energy cannons, far beyond the technology the consortium believed humans possessed, aimed skyward and opened fire. In orbit, 2 draconian ships were caught completely by surprise. Their shields, configured to defend against primitive weapons, buckled under the unexpected power of the human counterattack. One ship's engines exploded, sending it tumbling out of formation. High General, the humans are firing weapons of Tier 7 technology, shouted his weapons officer. Our intelligence said they only possess Tier 3. Vexcor snarled in rage. Impossible. No human colony should have access to such weapons. He slammed his clawed hand down on his command console. All ships execute. Evasive pattern Krell 6. Prepare for ground assault. On Horizon Colony, a young tactical officer named Lieutenant Olivia Carter rushed into the command center, datapad in hand. Governor, I've been analyzing their attack patterns, she said breathlessly. The Draconians rely heavily on coordinated strikes between their ships. There's a 3-second vulnerability in their shield cycling when they reorient for new attack positions. Martinez raised an eyebrow. Can we exploit that? Lieutenant Carter nodded confidently. Yes, sir. If we time our counterattacks to those moments and focus on their lead ships, we can disrupt their entire formation. Do it, Martinez ordered. And Lieutenant, good work. Carter quickly moved to the weapons console and began programming the new targeting parameters. Within minutes, the colony's defense batteries adjusted their firing pattern. In space, the effect was immediate. 2 more draconian ships suffered critical hits during their vulnerable shield cycling. One began to drift, its weapon systems offline, while another hastily retreated to a higher orbit. Vexcor could not believe what he was seeing. How are they doing this? They're just humans. His communication officer interrupted. High General, we're detecting multiple ships entering the system. They appear to be human vessels. Show me, Vexcor demanded. The main view screen changed to show a distant section of space. Several small dots were growing larger as they approached at incredible speed. Magnify, ordered Vexcor. The image zoomed in to reveal ships unlike any human vessels the Draconians had seen before. These were not the bulky, inefficient crafts that humans were known to use. These ships were sleek, advanced, and bristling with weapons that made the High General's scales tighten against his body. In instinctive fear, "Sir," his second-in-command said quietly, "these ships match no known human design in our database." Admiral Eric Howard stood on the bridge of the Earth Fleet flagship, Defiance, watching the tactical display. The Draconian ships attacking Horizon Colony were clearly visible, as were the colony's surprisingly effective defenses. Communications. Open a channel to all Draconian vessels, Howard ordered. Channel open, sir. Admiral Howard straightened his uniform and spoke clearly. Attention, Draconian vessels. This is Admiral Eric Howard of Earthfleet. You are attacking a protected human colony. Cease fire immediately and withdraw from this system, or we will respond with full force. On his command ship, Vexcor received the transmission with growing rage and disbelief. Earthfleet? There is no Earthfleet. The humans possess only a few patrol ships. The communications officer looked up from his console, fear evident in his eyes. Sir, we're now detecting over 30 advanced warships approaching. Their weapons, our sensors can't even classify some of them. For the first time, doubt crept into Vexcor's mind. How could the humans have hidden such military power? How could the mighty Draconian Empire's intelligence be so wrong? Order all ships to regroup at Rally Point Zeta, Vexcor commanded. We need to reassess. As the Draconian ships began to retreat from Horizon Colony, Martinez opened a secure channel to Earth. Earth Command, this is Horizon Colony. The mice took the bait. The cats are on their way. The reply came from a grim-faced general on Earth. Confirmed, Governor. The sleeping giant is fully awake now. There's no turning back. As Admiral Howard's fleet approached Horizon, he knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was about to learn that human myths were far more real than they had ever imagined. The grand chamber of the Galactic Consortium was in chaos. Representatives from hundreds of species shouted over each other as news of the Draconian attack on Horizon Colony spread. The massive screens that lined the walls showed footage of the battle, human defenses far beyond what anyone had believed possible, and a human fleet that should not exist. Council member Genla watched the screens with narrowed eyes. Unlike her fellow representatives, she was not surprised. The slender, silver-skinned alien had suspected for years that humans were hiding their true capabilities. Now her suspicions were proven correct. Order! We will have order! Ambassador Krelvax shouted from the central platform, his 6 eyes blinking rapidly in distress. When the chamber finally quieted, he spoke again. We have received confirmation that the Draconian Empire has launched attacks on multiple human colonies. These acts of aggression are in direct violation of consortium law. Genla rose from her seat. Perhaps more concerning is the fact that the humans have clearly violated our technology-sharing protocols. They have concealed military capabilities that far exceed what they disclosed upon joining the consortium. Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. Krelvax nodded. The human representatives have been summoned to explain these discrepancies. The chamber doors opened, and Commander Jack Miller walked in, accompanied not by Dr. Lisa Green, but by a stern-looking man in a crisp military uniform adorned with simple stars and bars. Representatives of the consortium, Jack announced. I present General Alan Foster, head of Earth's Military Strategy Division. General Foster stepped forward, his face showing no emotion as he surveyed the hostile faces around him. I understand. You have questions, he said simply. Questions? Krelvax's voice rose. You have deceived the entire consortium. You signed treaties limiting weapons technology while secretly building an advanced warfleet. General Foster nodded. Yes. The blunt admission stunned the chamber into silence. When Earth joined the consortium, Foster continued, we were aware of threats you had dismissed as myths. The Draconian Empire was believed by most of you to be extinct, or merely a story to frighten children. We knew otherwise. How? Demanded a representative from the back. Because we had encountered them before, Foster replied. 120 years ago, they attacked our solar system. We defeated them, but at great cost. When they retreated into the unknown regions of space, we knew they would return someday. So we prepared. On Earth, deep beneath the rocky mountains, Dr. Kate Wilson stood in a massive underground chamber filled with advanced technology. Holographic displays showed battles occurring across multiple star systems as the Draconians expanded their attack. Activate all defensive arrays in sectors 7 through 15, she ordered her team, and bring the Jupiter shipyards online. A young technician looked up in surprise. The Jupiter yards, ma'am? Those haven't been revealed even to our own population. Dr. Wilson's face was grim. The time for hiding is over. The Draconians have launched a full-scale invasion. General Foster is informing the consortium now. Around the Jupiter moon of Ganymede, what appeared to be natural formations began to shift. Massive doors slid open in the moon's surface, revealing shipyards that stretched for hundreds of kilometers beneath the surface. Within these hidden facilities, warships twice the size of the largest known consortium vessels waited, their systems coming online as crews boarded them. Similar scenes played out across the solar system as humanity revealed military installations, hidden in asteroids, beneath ocean floors, and in subspace pockets that most species didn't even know how to access. In Draconian territory, Major Ben Rodriguez and his team of special forces moved silently through a massive space station. Their stealth suits rendered them nearly invisible to Draconian sensors. "Target located," whispered Lieutenant Fiona Kelly, pointing to a secure door at the end of the corridor. Rodriguez nodded and signaled for his team to take positions. With practiced precision, they disabled the guards and security systems. Inside the room, they found what they were looking for: the main communication hub linking the Draconian command to their fleet. "Plant the device," Rodriguez ordered. Kelly attached a small black box to the main console. It immediately began to glow with a soft blue light as it integrated with the Draconian systems. "Upload complete," she reported after a moment. "They won't know we're reading every message they send for the next 48 hours. "Good," said Rodriguez. "Now let's get out of here before—" Alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. "Intruder alert! Security breach in communication hub," announced a harsh voice over the speakers. "Change of plans," Rodriguez said calmly. "Activating Protocol Thunderstorm." Each member of the team pulled a small device from their equipment. When activated, these devices created energy signatures identical to human warships exiting hyperspace. "Let's make them think we brought friends," Rodriguez said with a grim smile. Back in the consortium grand chamber, General Foster continued his explanation. "For 30 years we have watched and waited. We joined your consortium in good faith, but we also saw how you dismissed legitimate threats as myths. We could not entrust the safety of our species to those who refused to see danger until it was too late." "So you lied," Krelvac said flatly. "We protected ourselves," Foster corrected. "And now, whether you approve or not, we will protect the galaxy from the Draconian threat." Council member Genla stepped forward. "General Foster speaks truth that many do not wish to hear. My own research into ancient records suggests the Draconians have returned multiple times throughout galactic history, each time destroying young civilizations before retreating. Each time the consortium has either failed to recognize the threat or chosen to forget it afterward." The chamber erupted again in angry shouts and denials. Amid the chaos, massive holographic displays activated, showing Earth's Warfleet emerging from hidden locations throughout the galaxy. The screens revealed ships of designs never before seen, weapons that defied conventional understanding, and defensive systems that put the consortium's best technology to shame. General Foster raised his hand, and the chamber gradually fell silent, again all eyes fixed on the displays. "For centuries we prepared for threats you dismissed as myths," Foster said, his voice echoing in the stunned silence. "Today, those myths have become your salvation." Krelvax's 6 eyes blinked rapidly. "Even if what you say is true, even if these Draconians are the threat you claim, how can we trust you now? You have hidden your true strength from us for decades." "You don't need to trust us," Foster replied. "You need only watch. The Draconian Empire will attack the consortium worlds next. They always have. We can stop them, with or without your permission." As if to confirm his words, emergency alerts began to sound throughout the chamber. Reports flooded in of Draconian ships appearing at the edges of consortium space. Admiral Pax Alor, the consortium's highest military leader, approached General Foster. The tall, gray-skinned alien looked down at the human with a mixture of anger and respect. "If your forces are as powerful as you claim," Paxlor said, "then I suggest we set aside questions of trust and deception for now. My fleet stands ready to join yours against this threat. Foster nodded and extended his hand in the human gesture of agreement. After a moment's hesitation, Pax Lore grasped it. The Draconian Empire will learn today, Foster said, that some myths are worth fearing. Fleet Commander Laura Davis stood on the bridge of the Harbinger, Earth's most powerful warship. Through the massive view screen, she watched as thousands of vessels moved into formation around her. The combined fleet included not only Earth's hidden warships but also vessels from 27 consortium species who had joined the fight against the Draconians. Status report, Davis ordered, her voice calm despite the enormous battle that was about to begin. All ships in position, Commander, replied her second-in-command. Human fleet is ready. Consortium allies are at 92% readiness. Davis nodded. The Battle of Seven Systems was about to begin. The Draconians had pushed deep into consortium space, capturing or destroying everything in their path. Now they faced the combined might of Earth and its new allies. Open a channel to all ships, Davis said. When the channel was ready, she spoke clearly, her words transmitted to every vessel in the fleet. This is Fleet Commander Davis. Today we face an enemy that has threatened this galaxy for too long. The Draconians believe they are superior to all other life. They believe conquest is their right. Today we prove them wrong. She paused, looking at the tactical display showing the massive Draconian fleet approaching. Each of our species has different strengths, different histories, different reasons to fight, but today we fight as one. Good luck, Davis out. On the Draconian command ship, Emperor Khazgul watched the approaching Allied fleet with glowing yellow eyes. His ancient scaled body was wrapped in ornate armor that had seen 1,000 battles. Around him, his commanders worked frantically at their stations. My Emperor, said his chief strategist. Our scouts report that the human ships have formed the center of the enemy formation. They appear to be protecting the weaker consortium vessels. The humans, Khazgul hissed. I remember them from the ancient times. His officers looked up in surprise. Few knew that their emperor had lived for thousands of years, leading the Draconian Empire through cycles of conquest and retreat across the galaxy. The humans were weak when we first encountered them, the emperor continued. But they learned, quickly, too quickly. His clawed hand tightened on the arm of his throne. Our records call them the Destroyers. Now we will destroy them before they grow even stronger. In the Proxima Centauri system, near humanity's home, Chief Engineer Ryan Scott supervised last-minute preparations aboard Earth's newest weapon platform. The massive station hidden in orbit around the system's red dwarf star for decades housed energy cannons that could target ships across vast distances through controlled wormholes. Final power check, Scott ordered. All systems at 100%, sir, reported a technician. The longbow is ready to fire. Scott nodded with satisfaction. The longbow was his greatest creation, capable of striking targets in multiple star systems simultaneously. Its existence had been one of Earth's most closely guarded secrets. We're receiving targeting data from Fleet Commander Davis, said his communications officer. The battle has begun. The Battle of Seven Systems erupted across space as the two massive fleets collided. Draconian ships with their distinctive black hulls and red energy weapons pressed forward aggressively. The Allied fleet countered with coordinated maneuvers that spoke of extensive planning. At the center of the human formation, the Harbinger demonstrated capabilities no ship had ever shown before. Its advanced shields shrugged off attacks that would have destroyed most vessels. Its weapons cut through Draconian defenses with frightening ease. Fleet Commander Davis directed the battle from her command chair. Group Alpha, push to Sector 4. Group Beta, hold position and draw their fire. Longbow, target their command ships. Across 7 star systems, the battle raged. In the consortium Grand Chamber, representatives watched in stunned silence as the tactical displays showed human ships performing impossible maneuvers and deploying weapons technologies that defied known physics. How is this possible? Whispered Ambassador Krelvax to Council Member Zhenla. These humans were nothing but a primitive species 30 years ago. No, Zhenla replied quietly. They simply allowed us to believe that. I have studied their history since they joined us. They have been warriors for thousands of years. Their planet is what ancient texts call a death world, a harsh environment that breeds strong, resourceful species. Admiral Pax Lore commanded the consortium fleet from his flagship. Initially, he had resented being placed under human strategic command, but now he watched in awe as Fleet Commander Davis coordinated attacks across multiple star systems with incredible precision. Their battle doctrine, Pax Lore remarked to his aide, combines strategies from thousands of years of warfare. See how they use our ships where our strengths lie, and their own for the most dangerous assaults? It's beautiful, in its way. As the battle progressed, the Draconians deployed their most dreaded weapon, a massive ship that generated energy capable of destroying planets. As it prepared to fire on a heavily populated consortium world, 3 human ships moved to intercept. Those ships can't possibly stop that weapon, Pax Lore said, watching the tactical display with growing alarm. They'll be destroyed. But as the Draconian planet killer charged its main cannon, the 3 human vessels activated devices that created a localized space-time distortion. The massive energy discharge from the Draconian weapon was caught in the distortion and reflected back at its source. The planet killer exploded in a blinding flash of light. Emperor Kazgul watched in rage as his fleet's advantage began to slip away. "Deploy all reserves," he ordered. "Focus all attacks on the human vessels." The Draconian fleet surged forward in a desperate assault aimed at the heart of the human formation. For a moment, it seemed they might break through. Then, across all 7 battle zones, new energy signatures appeared as hidden human bases activated throughout the contested systems. Space stations that had appeared to be simple trading posts revealed weapon arrays. Uninhabited moons opened to expose shipyards and defense platforms. "Protocol Thunderstorm is now fully active," reported Davis's tactical officer. Fleet Commander Davis nodded in grim satisfaction. Now they learn why Earth has always prepared for the worst. In the Proxima Centauri system, Chief Engineer Scott gave the final command. "Longbow, full barrage, all targets." The massive weapon platform glowed with energy as it opened precisely calculated wormholes throughout the battle zone. Beams of concentrated energy shot through these spatial tiers, striking key Draconian vessels with pinpoint accuracy across all 7 systems simultaneously. Emperor Kazgul felt his ship shudder as the longbow's energy beam sliced through his vessel's supposedly impenetrable shields. Warning alarms blared around him as systems failed. "Retreat," he finally ordered, his ancient voice filled with rage. "Signal all ships to fall back to defensive position Omega. We will regroup and attack." Again, as the Draconian fleet began to withdraw, Admiral Pax Lore approached the observation deck of his ship. From there he could see Earth vessels moving with deadly grace through the battlefield, pursuing the retreating enemy with relentless precision. "The humans never needed our protection," Pax Lore whispered to his aide. "We needed theirs." Fleet Commander Davis watched the tactical display as the Draconian fleet retreated. "Don't pursue beyond the established perimeter," she ordered. "They're falling back to their core systems. We'll need a new strategy for what comes next." The Battle of 7 Systems was over. The combined fleet had won the day, but Davis knew this was just the beginning. The final confrontation would take place at Earth itself, where humanity's true home defenses waited to be revealed.